Book with action and suspense.
Looks like I'm reading The Hunger Games.
Book reviews with UV, yeah.
Hi, my name's Yuvi, and today I'm going to do a little book review of The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. This book has become so embedded in our pop culture that even if you've never read this book, chances are you know the premise of it. But in case you've been living under a rock and you have never heard of The Hunger Games, I'll give you a short little reenactment.
In a dystopian future, a girl by the name of Katniss Everdeen lives in District 12, one of the 12 districts of Panem. She's amazing with a bow and arrow from the illegal hunting skills she's acquired. Primrose, her little sister, is the most important thing to her in the world. This is her devilishly handsome friend Gale, who likes to hunt with her.
Every year, Panem hosts a battle to the death competition across all 12 districts called The Hunger Games.
Katniss saves her sister by taking her place in the games.
Katniss and her childhood friend Peeta were the last two standing.
What will happen next? And who will win the games?
Woo! That was intense. I think I deserve an Oscar, but let's just move on from that because I am a god of acting. Now that you're all caught up in the premise of the story, I want to give you a short review and then talk about the themes of the book. So let's get to the review. And now, for the official UV review. Drum roll, please. I give this book a 9.9 out of 10 for one reason only. I wish it never ended. No, seriously, this book is kind of amazing. The amount of character and plot development that Susie is able to squeeze into such a short 374 pages is kind of unmatched. Now, the story's from Katniss's perspective, so you really get to feel how she thinks and functions on the inside, yet somehow you still feel like you're just as connected to the other characters. What's so haunting about this book is that nothing in it is unreal. Everything that happens in this book is kind of possible to happen to us. There aren't flying monkeys and humans with super strength or even wizards. Everything that happens is just because of a distorted society and
Quack.
traditions. And if we aren't careful, we're more than capable of making this our future. Now, I think it's a lot easier to imagine yourself in these characters' shoes because I'm going to use Harry Potter as an example. In Harry Potter, he's a wizard. It's kind of hard to imagine what it'd be like to just make things change at the cast of a spell. But for Katniss, you're able to really connect with her because you can see yourself in her shoes. All the other characters too, because they're just ordinary humans who have kind of trained for this, and some of them even haven't. But I found it that I think that a lot of people are going to find it easier to connect to the characters in this book. Not me. I can connect more to Harry Potter because I'm a wizard. Now let's take a look at one of my favorite parts of the book. Let's go. One of my favorite quotes in the book happens when Effie Trickett stands up in front of everyone in her extravagant outfit and says, "Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds ever be in your favor." I think this is such an iconic moment in the book, and everyone who's read knows this line, because she's saying Happy Hunger Games almost as if it's some sort of celebration, when the families are in fear and shock that their loved ones might die in the next few weeks. But she stands there with a broomstick up her quack, telling them to be happy and have good luck. I love this moment because it kind of shows how crazy, dystopian, and brainwashed this character is. Now, Katniss, on the other hand, as a character, is so loving to her family, but kind of cold to everyone else. Everything she does in this book is for her family. She speaks to Haymitch and Peeta with much disrespect for a majority of the book. There's a moment where you can see that change in her, when she starts to treat Haymitch and Peeta with more respect. She says this, "In the end, the only person I truly want to comfort me is Haymitch, because he loves Peeta too." This is important because it shows that not only she cares for Peeta, but it shows that she's starting to warm up to Haymitch. This is kind of pivotal because earlier in the book, Haymitch is quoted saying so many, let's say, questionable things, such as this. Embrace the probability of your imminent death, and know in your heart, there's nothing I can do to save you. This is right before she's going on to the Hunger Games. You can just tell he's a jolly character. Now, I think the real question is, what's the theme of the book? Is it perseverance? Maybe power? Maybe it's even love. But I don't think those are it. I believe the theme of the book is like this. Sometimes thinking a situation through is much better than muscling your way to the top. Let me explain. Throughout the entire book, Katniss always thinks ahead. She runs to water at the beginning of the games because she'll know it'll help her maintain her strength. She grabs backpacks instead of weapons because she knows there might be food for survival equipment. She hides in trees, she uses fires as distraction, and she even knocks killer bees on her opponents instead of being cocky and running in head first. Even the way she wins the games by methodically placing poisonous berries in her mouth is pure genius. She could have probably killed Peeta, but instead she methodically thought and saved her and her friend. The same thing happens with Rue, who's one of my favorite characters. Throughout the entire novel before she passes away, she methodically uses trees and information she had before instead of running in and fighting to survive. Oh, and when Rue passed away, my heart broke. Okay. Sorry for that. Long story short, it's just a touching story that lets you come and get really close with your favorite characters and just connect with the rest of the cast. And sometimes it's good to keep in mind that you should think before you act, which I think is the premise of the story. Because planning never hurts. Until next time, peace out and keep reading.